Going back to Sunday real quick, soccer is a beautiful game, also can be kind of a cruel game. Lots of good things happen Sunday, but at the same time, was it one of those games that maybe felt like a loss even though it was a draw?
I thought it felt like a loss just for the fact that they treated it like it was the best game they'd ever played. Like, they thought in their minds it was almost like a win even though it was a tie, so it was definitely more of a loss to us. I don't know. I thought.
Yeah, I think, like Rob was saying, even we played well. We really did. We had 31 shots on goal. I think 13 corners. Youngstown had 0 corner kicks and like maybe 11 shots on goal. So clearly we outplayed them in the stats and everything. And also I think we played well on the field. We were connecting, switching the field. So I don't know if I would say it necessarily felt like a loss to our team. I don't know. I mean, it was really frustrating that we didn't capitalize on our opportunities that we had, but I think it was a good building experience for our team as well going into Penn State this weekend.
Yeah. Megan, as someone that's a defender and plays a lot of corners, you know, there were a lot of good opportunities off corners on Sunday. Do you take more pride in setting up those chances or maybe not giving up a corner?
I would say not giving up a corner more, just because if you go a whole game without giving up a corner, that really shows that you're doing a good job defensively and you're keeping the ball down in their end, and then you can create the corners, so more often than not. So.
I know while we talked a lot about the improved defending early this year, and it seemed like Christa and Megan just highlighted just now, they were more proud of not giving up a corner versus having the 13 corners on Sunday.
Yeah, you know, I think it's a two-way street, but certainly I think that shows a level of dominance in the game. It shows who's on the front foot and who we're getting in behind the defense if we're forcing them to give up corner kicks. So, but at the same time, we've got to become more efficient and effective at taking advantage of those, because we're not going to garner 13 corner kicks against either Penn State or Ohio State most likely.
Sophomores, you guys have been through the wars now 1 year. What did you observe last year about the way things changed once conference play started? The intensity, the competition?
Christa? It's a big change.
Yeah.
Definitely. I mean, it's Big Ten, great conference. Every team is good. So I think, and not that the teams that we've been playing so far in this preseason of the Big Ten aren't good. They are very good teams, but they're not Penn State. They're not Maryland.
It's just a kind of whole new level.
It is.
Speed of play,
pressure, intensity.
Just like Rob said, we have to just accept the fact that it's going to be harder work than we put in at the beginning of the season.
In a way, is it good to start against Penn State to kind of measure yourself against the best, and also not to have to play them late in the year when maybe you need points?
Yeah, I think, I mean, you can look at it both ways. Obviously, I feel like we have to look at it in a positive way and say hey, Penn State's probably one of our toughest competitions in the Big Ten. So let's face it early and move on. Hopefully we'll come out with a win. Obviously, we want that. But if things don't go our way, we can move on, because we know that there are a lot of teams in this conference that we can beat and hang with. So I think hopefully moving on to those opportunities, again, hopefully we beat Penn State where we have the potential.
Even if we did get a loss, we've already showed that we can come back from a loss. We lost our first game of the season and we won 4 in a row, so there's nothing that,
Very true. Lastly, 3 different goalkeepers have already started this season, which is kind of rare this early in the year. As field players, does it take a little bit of adjustment for you guys to get used to who's in goal?
Definitely. Yeah. Lots of communication has to happen between us and the goalkeeper.
Yeah, I know, as a midfielder, you can talk about defense, but when we take goal kicks, all of our goalies kind of have different capabilities, I think, in kicking strength. So, when Jan was in this past weekend, it was we did more of a kind of press up high, and me and Molly were supposed to be the targets more. So I think also like Megan said, a lot of communication and getting Jan to find us versus kicking it wide, which I know we practice a lot in practice, but sometimes you have to adjust to the game, and just getting her hey, look for your targets, look for the people who head on the team versus sending it wide to the people that don't head.
Telling the person who you're looking for that you're gonna play the ball to them. Yeah. Calling out their name before you kick it, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So.
It's an exciting weekend. It's certainly a great opponent to start Big Ten play and prove challenging for us. I think it is a step up from the non-conference games that we've had. At the same time, I think we're really happy for the most part with the attacking forays that we've had. The amount of possession that we had over this last weekend, I think we proved ourselves to be dangerous. But as we talked about the end of the game against Youngstown State, we've got to become more efficient in the final third, and these are certainly teams that will force us to be so.
are some of the things that's made Penn State so dangerous over the years?
You're talking about great players. I think they also have a great esprit de corps. Every time you watch them play, I think they've got a good camaraderie. They've tested themselves against the very best teams in the country, and you got overall technical ability and athleticism. At the same time, I think they got challenges. They're located in a place that travel is difficult, and they were on the road this last weekend, and being on the road this coming weekend certainly can prove difficult for them. And every team gets up for them as well. And so I know that it's I think that was part of their challenge last year. I think with an improving league and an overall increase in the level of play from a large number of teams within the Big Ten, I think things prove challenging, and that they're a team that everyone looks and sets their sights on, and marks that spot on the calendar when they're going to go to State College and when Penn State's going to arrive in town. And so they really see the best from everyone.
Besides Indiana, is it fair to say Ohio State, considering how tight the all-time series has been, is right there in terms of rivals?
Certainly, and the number of players that we've always recruited from the state of from the Buckeye State makes a big difference as well. That the young ladies seems to be very, very motivated. They got former teammates and everything. So it's a great the location. It's proved very competitive. There's been several years that we struggled to beat them. Several years that they've struggled to beat us. So overall, it's a great rivalry. And so that's those two. Honestly, for overall in the Big Ten, you build up those different types of rivalries in the places that you find easier to play or to level of dominance over some teams, but you never take anything for granted because of the level of play and the athletes. And you've got, honestly, right now, I feel like this is probably the best group of coaches, the best group of coaching staffs, and a level of play that the Big Ten has seen in a long, long time. So it's great to be in a league that out of 14 teams, we're likely to see somewhere between 8 and 10, 8 and 11 teams potentially make the NCAA tournament.